So, hello and very warm welcome, all of you joining us today from every corner of the country. This is ninth edition of Anubhav. Some journal announcement before starting. You can just send us a hello in the chat box or tell your name from where you are joining today. And you can please keep your microphone on mute when not in use. And you can also keep your video on if you want, and you can keep it off if your network is unstable. Regarding question and answers, you can either raise your hand or unmute yourself at your turn to ask the question, or you can simply text in the chat box the moment you have that question, and you can write it, and we will ask it after the session, end of the session. So let's begin. UNIMA Puppeteers Trust, India, the national center of the International Association of Puppeteers, UNIMA, which says Union Internationale de la Marionette. It is the platform for exchange and networking to share between people who practice puppetry, work on this art, and are passionate about this art. UNIMA is present more than 90 countries. It is the oldest international theater organization in the world. UNIMA is a non-government organization affiliated to UNESCO. Its members, who come from all over the world, contribute to the development of puppetry art. It also supports meetings, conferences, exchanges, and collaborations, opportunities to operate with people in all areas of puppetry like therapy, teaching, training, research, documentation, collections, exhibitions, etc., and support collecting and distributing information and publication about research, courses, and workshops. We have our exclusive digital publication called Sutradhar and the newsletter, which are present on our website called unimapuppeteers.in. And our video archives are available on our official YouTube channel @Puppeteer Trust. You can find most of the Indian puppetry documentaries, talks, glimpses from previous masterclasses and workshops, and all previous Anubhav sessions recorded there for free in our digital video library. We are also present on Instagram and Facebook as @Puppeteer Trust. You can follow us there for constant updates and write to us at puppeteertrust@gmail.com for any kind of query. This is the ninth edition of Anubhav. Anubhav is an attempt by Unima Puppeteer Trust, India, where we meet the puppeteers, master puppeteers from traditional and contemporary practices, explorers, practitioners, trainers, mentors, therapists, filmmakers, and enthusiasts in puppetry, one-on-one live on online platform. To know each other closely, getting inspirations and learning by sharing the experiences, which comes from the Hindi term called Anubhav, and to build the better networking with strong roots. So today, in the ninth edition, we explore the vibrant world of puppetry, its tradition, and visionary artists who keep it alive. Today, we have with us a truly special guest, Dr. Gouranga Charan Dash, an acclaimed scholar, creative writer, and pioneering puppeteers from Odisha, a man who began his journey in the literary world and ventured into the shadowy brilliance of Ravana Chaya puppetry. Dr. Gouranga Charan Dash, through his Srirama Institute of Shadow Theatre and his dedicated efforts, has been instrumental in the preservation and growth of puppet theatre from Ravana Chhaya from Odisha. The puppets of Ravana Chhaya are made of a single piece of untamed animal hide and are linearly cut. Dr. Das has spent decades preserving, modernizing, and innovating within this rare and ancient form. Let's dive into his extraordinary story. Welcome, Dr. Das. Welcome today, and thank you so much for joining us.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Okay.
Namaste, sir. So we can begin with you. You can please share a little about your journey from a small village in Odisha to becoming a renowned scholar, puppeteer, which shaped your vision and worked in the puppetry literature. Yes, sir.
But to begin with, I must owe thousands of thanks uh, to the revered viewers across the country and my deep sense of gratitude to you, Manishi, and the members of UNIMA for having provided me this opportunity to speak a little about to speak something about Ravana Chaya. I know a little, rather to say. You have introduced me the two words you have used for me, a puppeteer and a researcher. To my humble submission, mm, I'm not a puppeteer.
Okay.
I mean, I told you the last time, I am a puppet and an invisible master puppeteer representing the puppet characters. He is manipulating all through during my performance. But the relation between the master puppeteer and myself is not the. He is not my master. I am not his slave. We are good friends. And when we go for performance, we usually talk, exchange dialogues between us. And then I used to tell him, ask him, tell me, what shall I do? And I do accordingly. So that kind of relation is between puppets and me. So I cannot claim myself as a puppeteer, rather a puppet. Then second thing, you have introduced me as I'm a researcher. I don't accept this proposition that I say. Untiring traveler trying hardest to reach upon the enigma of puppet world. Really, I'm untiring. But I am here to speak something about Ravana Chhaya, a few words about Ravana Chhaya. But I am sorry to state that I am not hail from any traditional puppeteers community. And to my, I am almost an outsider. And to my observation, outsiders look on any genre of creativity invariably invites questions. They are in good in writing history as they wish. I request the august viewers to take my narrative as a voice of their friend. Then I want to introduce my state, that is Odisha. So this is the only state in India that has experienced the enigma of puppet art since centuries. We can call it as the home of all genres of puppetry. That is bow, marionette, shadow, round, and ventriloquism. But they are known in different nomenclatures. Shakhi Kandhi Natta, gloves puppet, then Gopalila Kandhi Natta, marionette, then Ramalila Kandhi Natta, rod puppet, then Ravana Chaya, shadow puppet. And the traditional puppeteers were hailed from that is fisherman community, bird community, and Kela community. Presently, besides Sakhi Kandhi, the practitioner of all other three forms are not seen on the street. Their existence is at stake. The troupe we see nowadays are the amalgamation of the artists of different castes. Why the traditional artists have relinquished their art form remained unanswered. The reason may be either because of their reaction against the so-called elitists' aversion to this art form as subaltern or poor man's art, or the role of cultural politics need introspection. So this is about Odisha, and this is the only state where all five types of puppetry still exist. So I am representing that state and a practitioner of Ravana Chhaya tradition. But I am not hailed from the traditional puppeteers community. So I cannot claim as a honest puppeteer of tradition. But I know what tradition is. Okay, that is all about myself and the puppet tradition of Odisha. You're not audible then. No, I'm
I'm
not
unmute.
audible.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yeah.
uh-huh.
So how does this traditional form inspired you for your academic journey to bring it
Uh,
forward?
so that is a very fascinating question.
Yeah.
During my childhood, so many all the your Sakhi troops they are frequently coming to our villages. Perhaps two times in a month, and then at times the odd puppeteers were also coming. Uh, that was the child is the experience of my childhood. But when I completed my post graduation from Ravana College, I joined as a lecturer in Government College, Bargat, and my wife joined at Khamar. That is the place where Ravana Chaya practitioners were living.
Mhm.
One day, one fine evening, I saw a man, very stockily built, with curled hair, moving on the village road. He appeared me something different, a man with difference. I followed him. He was none other than Katinanda Das, the local hero, the recipient of Kendra Sangeeta Natak Academy Award. I fell in love with him. I went to his home. Then I became his disciple and friend and sound like anything. Then I decided I must go for my higher study on puppetry and Ravana Chhaya. It is because of my wife who was staying there, and I frequently used to go there, and then the relationship developed. Then I started research on puppetry art in 1980 and submitted my thesis in 1991. Degree was awarded, PhD degree was awarded in 92, and the very year the book get published. So that is all about, or in nutshell, my research career on puppetry art. Then in 2001, I received a major research project, study of shadow theatre in India, its tradition and scope of modernization. There is a pan-Indian study,
Mhm.
and in those days I traveled across the country, and I took 7 years to complete this project. Though the time limit was only for 3 years, then India became my home. I traveled from villages to villages and towns to towns, and I can now go anywhere. I can go now freely and stay there. I met hundreds of puppet troops across the country: Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, and many more. So that is my experience regarding study on puppetry. Then this is something about my observation, and this study gave me the potential how to look to think in a different style.
Mhm.
So that is the whole thing. So in 1992, that was the very important year in my life. I received a letter from IGNCA signed by Shobana Radhakrishnan. The government, the IGNCA is interested to modernize this tradition. That is very important. That year is very important. The history of shadow puppetry in India.
Mhm.
Very important year. And Kapilaji planned to bring Gandhi through traditional art form. And that was also her dream. The traditional puppeteers cannot achieve the goal.
Mhm.
And she decided that she should incorporate the scholars from different states and
Mhm.
join hands with each other and they can go ahead. So
Mhm.
that was her dream. I got a letter from IGNCA. signed by Shobana Radhakrishnan. And the spirit of the letter was that you have decided to do this, and we want you have done your PhD in puppetry and you join with us. I told him, I am not a puppeteer, and how can I venture to this tradition, to modernize this tradition? I asked the traditional puppeteers, Ravana Chhaya, please come. Are you prepared to accept this challenge? They told, yes, we are ready for that. I don't like to go much about that, but Kapilaj's dream get fruit. In 1994, uh, uh, two troops from Tamil Nadu,
Hmm.
Duraijaraj Rao and Murugan Rao, they did that. And another troop from Karnataka, uh, he also did Bapu Katha. So Bapu appeared in the form of shadow puppet tradition in India, and that was the phase of modernization of tradition in India that was initiated by Kapilaj. And also Usha Malik was also with her. So then I was asked why Odisha people fall behind. They
Hmm.
should go forward. That is the second
Hmm.
phase.
Hmm.
In 1994, I received another letter from
Hmm.
IGNCA.
Hmm.
Please try to modernize Ravana Chhaya. And you are sleeping, not answering to our questions and not becoming a part of this venture.
Hmm.
Then I decided met the artist and then asked them come forward and do this. They agreed. Then the problem was how to portray Gandhi, who will write script, who will design puppets,
Hmm.
who will sing the songs, and what to do
Hmm.
the story. So that
Hmm.
is a challenge before the traditional artist. Obviously, because they were accustomed to certain things, and when you are asking them do this, so it is really very difficult to overcome these challenges.
Hmm.
So I met them. We discussed how to do this. I assured them I will do everything. I will collect materials, deer hide, then mountain goat hide, sambar hide, then this that. I did that. My friend Prahlad Behra was there. He was a mastermind artist, and he drew the lines of Bapu Katha puppets. Then I wrote the story. So everything was done in a fine way. But before the date was also fixed when your performance will be presented, it was 2nd of October 95. But before the performance, the guru told me, we are not prepared to do this.
Hmm.
Why? That is a huge question for me. Still remained unanswered. But there was fear in their mind if this boy will come forward, then our tradition may be hijacked.
Hmm.
That is number one. And number two, this is the identity of the particular village where
Hmm.
Kakinanda was staying.
Hmm.
So, in no circumstances, no case we want to disturb our tradition, disturb our identity. That was the
Hmm.
fear. Even that is obvious. There is no wrong in their perception.
Hmm.
Another person from that village appeared before me as a Messiah. He was Khageshwar Pradhan. Came forward and told Gourang, don't be worried, and I am here, and you can do everything you like. And we could fruitful in our journey. So that was the day, 1995, October 2nd. Our first performance was there in Gandhi Museum. Very memorable day in my life, and I became a puppeteer. And it is because of Kapilaji who made me a researcher into a puppeteer. So every credit must go to her. So that is the story of the beginning of my puppeteer's journey. So I was really fascinated looking at the traditional puppeteers, and then in the second phase I became a puppeteer. So that I never dreamt of these things, but
Mm-hmm.
I became successful. So
Right.
researcher turned into transform into a puppeteer.
So when you say some modernization, so what vision you have modernization of Ravan Chaya itself?
So for me to me modernization is one must be very certain about the tradition. So one must know what tradition is,
Hmm.
and you must feel myself. One must feel himself as the tradition. The
Hmm.
embody. I am the tradition, and this was my tradition,
Hmm.
and I am the person who can create tradition. So tradition was there. I am the tradition. Tradition exists within me, and I am here to create tradition. Unless I create tradition, then my stance will be nowhere. So this is the modernization. A modernizer has no right to disturb the tradition.
Hmm.
Tradition is almost like grammar, and art is not grammar. You have to go beyond grammar. So for me, tradition is knowing the grammar, the basics, the rudiments, the crux of any art form, the crux. So primarily, when I was indulged in accepting this form, then my first interest was to know what Ravana Chaya is,
Hmm.
how the puppets are made,
Hmm.
what are the ingredients,
Hmm.
how to make puppets,
Hmm.
how to make story,
Hmm.
how to sing songs,
Hmm. Hmm.
what are the musical instrument, how to play with musical instrument, how to manipulate instruments, what is the grammar of making drawing, all these things.
Hmm.
So this is basics knowledge about the tradition.
Hmm.
I learned it from my guru.
Hmm.
Guru simply give his puppet to my hand and skip it like this, keep it like this, then manipulate like this. I told him, if I manipulate this, then this does not look
Does
nice.
not. Ah.
Gandhi cannot dance. Gandhi's work is something different. Something different. So I must portray how Gandhi is working on the street, how Gandhi is sitting, how Gandhi is weaving, playing with charka. I must know all these things. But traditional puppeteers are accustomed to this kind of subtle nuances of the art form. So I learned my guru is keep this, manipulate this way, then move, go ahead. But I added something more. Only I took only 2 minutes. Keep it, then go ahead, manipulate like this. But I started manipulating like this. That is the whole thing. Manipulates like this. That was the style of Ravana Chhaya manipulation, like this. No, I must manipulate like this. Someone is working, someone is delivering dialogue. So that makes the difference. So I learned it from my guru, his guru. Then I tried to develop the tradition. Basically, Ravan Chhaya tradition is music oriented, musical play. So when I wrote script for Bapu Katha, that mind was there with myself. So I compose the text, I write the text in that way that will create the ambience of musical play. So I composed music like that way. So that was the amalgamation of traditional music, then contemporary music, then folk music, and then light classical music. So there is a combination like that. So you have to innovate many new ideas. Unless you do that, you cannot meet the challenges. You
Right.
cannot reach the modern viewers. So my Bapu Gatha was like that.
Hmm. So to our listeners, can you please introduce a little basic about Ravan Chaya, how the tradition comes? a bit history and what features define the Ravana Chhaya, what is the significance of the tradition in Odisha's cultural landscape.
Okay, let me speak something about the nomenclature of Ravana Chaya. This nomenclature
Sure.
is quite
Yeah.
different from many parts of the world. The first and most sound opinion could be like that. The hero of this play isn't Rama. This is Ravan. That the very vital point of that, the why this kind of nomenclature. Then the second point is Rama represents Parambrahma, who does not have any shadow. So we should not are the shadow word shadow as the representative of the Supreme, the God. So they deleted this proposition shadow. Thirdly, there is a fresco in Kendujhar district. It was painted in 400 AD, around that during Disha Bhanja was the king Dindin, and the name of the fresco is Ravana Chhaya. But there is no reason that the traditional Bhatta community they adhered to this nomenclature from the Sita Veds. I think the hero of the text is Ravan, though he was the villain, but he was not the villain, real villain. He was the devotee, and he is more than the god, the master. The traditional performers were belong to their bhattas, the itinerary bards, the nomadic tribesmen. I do not know where they have come from. It is a huge question and remain unanswered. I think they might come from Maharashtra or Gujarat like that. I have done a lot about that regarding their homeland. Then the next thing is Vichitra Ramayana is the text of Ravana Chaya. Vishwanath Khuntia was the poet. This text was exclusively composed for Ramlila production. So prior to that, whatever the text of Ravana Chhaya has not yet been discovered, has not yet been traced out. I think Ramakatha was the text, primarily it was the text of Ravana Chhaya and this was in folk style. Then when that text composed, Vishwanath Khuntia's Vichit Ramayana, the traditional Bhatta community, they adhered to this text as the text of their performance. This happened during the first decade of 18th century. So that was all about the text of Ravana Chhaya. This was composed in ornate style, chandas, the different ragas and raginis. So uh, that was the style. Then in regard to the configuration of Ravana Chhaya puppet is completely different from the other parts of India. The puppets used are made of hide of deer, sambar and mountain goats, not tanned in past. These puppets are flat without any joint in the body, linearly cut with varied shapes and sizes and are manipulated by the puppeteers with the help of a bamboo stick attached to the button. Only one stick used as the proof. Then no dye is used to make them attractive, to make them colorful. One character is enlivened on each piece of hide. Of course, they look crude to the naked eyes, but once they are put and manipulated behind the white screen in front of light source, the shadows in silhouette move on the screen rhythmically to the tune of music and song. The audience feel as if the dramatic characters are descending from the world of illusion. So very subtle nuances in regard to the configuration of Ravana Chhaya puppets. They look soothing to the eyes, as if all the colors are amalgamated in a melting pot. Stage is almost like the same as you see everywhere. So, musical instrument, in regard to musical instrument, only two musical instruments were used, one is tambourine and daskati. That are two musical instruments. And then you can see the style of puppet making, very folk styles are there. Some puppets are of that folk design. Then some puppets are Pattachitra design, and some puppets designs based on temple architecture, and few more puppets are there also on Saura tribal designs. So we are using five styles of puppet in configuring our puppets. So that's all about the design of the puppets. You can see different designs, and also modern Indian drawing also you are also using the puppets when making we are using puppets. So that is all about the designing of puppets. Then another important thing I want to note here, that the modernization phase began in 1988. Government of Odisha felt that this tradition has lost its grammar, lost its charms. Lot of changes must be done, must be incorporated. So they asked the artists of different schools that train musicians, Pattachitra designers, and instrumentalists, and started reviving the tradition. So, in the name of reviving the tradition, actually, they destroyed the tradition. Why I am giving this comment, they destroyed the tradition. The main point is they proposed that the traditional artists have no right, they do not know the basics of how to sing traditional music. So they recorded the music, used different style, the different musical instruments, that is violin, sitar, mardal, tabla, and this that, flute. That they started using these musical instruments, and they asked the artist when they are going for any performance, they should use recorded music. That is another blunder. So I have not seen anywhere in the world the folk artist using recorded music. So that was done, the training camp was done in 1988, and that became a great failure. Then when I came into picture, I came into this stage, I decided I must do what tradition was, and I must change the tradition. So only two musical instruments I added, that is harmonium and mridangam. They were also traditional musical instruments. So these two instrument I incorporated, and that is the thus began the new era of Ravana Chhaya tradition. And another important point is that I decided how to manipulate puppet in a different style. You know that Ravana Chhaya puppets are made of only single piece of puppet. So for one puppet, I am using more than 10, 15 puppets. So that is very important, and I get more importance on how to make them more attractive, and how their body language suit to the text. So that was another stunt I take up. So these are the changes I introduced in my performance, and you can very well see how the puppets are designed. And another important point I added, that when witnessing the drama, when witnessing the performance, I can carry the audience with me. So how to move audience with the performance, that is the most vital point for any performer. How to move them. So I decided to use the music, the story, the puppet design, and puppet manipulation. So these were the 5 points before me, 5 ingredients before me, how to make it more attractive, how to keep the audience with me all through the performance. So there is a saying, the audience is created. So how to create the audience? That should be the basic, that should be thrust area of any artist who are facing the audience through their performance. So these are the newness I introduced, and I have been trying all through my puppeteer's career with my friends and co-artists. So that is something about Ravana Chhaya tradition. Now you can see. Hello.
Yes, yes, sir.
Now I can see how we are manipulating puppets and the puppet designs here. I will show you how we are manipulating Ravana Chhaya puppets. One of the very fascinating style. Uh, these are the puppet designs,
And
Indian
video.
style drawing.
Vande Mataram.
Hello.
Yes, sir. So we want to show that Vande Mataram video.
No, it's Bande Mataram or from Ravana Chhaya tradition, that is very different style.
Okay. Just sharing sound.
ରାବଣର ମଧୁବନରେ ମନେ ମନେ ରାବଣର ବହୁତ ପ୍ରଶଂସା କଲା ଆଉ ତାପରେ ତ ମାଙ୍କଡା ବି ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିଦେଲା
Yes, sir.
Then another episode, Bande Mataram. The duration of that program is 7 minutes, and I am using more than 260 puppets for that project, for that program. Now you can watch few minutes of that program, Bande Mataram. How the puppets are manipulated and how the puppets are configured. All these things, very subtle nuances one can see through that performance. Please.
Thank you, sir. Beautiful video. So, one question which I come from to the presentation and video we have seen so far. Uh, Here, one interesting research project which says a study of shadow theater in India has been influential. But what were some of the major insights or challenges that emerged from that work?
Okay, I have traveled across the country, and I had also uh, uh, mm, traveled. When working in that field, I could trace out more than in 1920, 1923 or 4 like that. There are 10 more than 10 troops in Kerala and more than 40 troops in Karnataka. Only 3 troops are there in Tamil Nadu, and more than 30 troops are there in Andhra, and only one troop was there in Maharashtra, Chamracha Bagla.
Hmm.
And here in Odisha, 2 troops, Srirama Institute of Shadow Theatre and Ravana Chaya Natyasanga.
Hmm.
But the whole thing is only the Tamil Nadu puppeteers are not. Their condition is very wretched condition they are living. I cannot speak how they are now living, and their subsistence is a very problem for them.
Hmm.
I think they may not exist any
Hmm.
long.
Hmm.
But their
Hmm.
existence just stick.
Hmm.
Then about Andhra puppeteers, they are now busy in selling their puppets. Very attractive, good looking, and they are earning good money for when selling their puppets. And most of them are forgetting the dialogue rendering, style of singing, and this that. So that is not good. And primarily, my friend Ramchandran ji, he was not at the very beginning. He was not interested to modernize the tradition. But it's a good sign that two sons are now they're very good puppeteers, and his brother, younger brother, they are also engaged in keeping the tradition alive and also trying at their best to modernize the tradition. And they are also accepting challenges and incorporating new stories. Recently, he has developed Jesus Christ life story through Tolpobakutu tradition. That is a good sign.
Hmm.
So Belagavi Viranna of Karnataka is amazing personality. It's really amazing personality. His style of singing, his style of puppet making, and his daughter and 3 sons, they are also good in puppet making and handling puppets in their own style. They're very good really. And
Hmm.
only Karnataka has 3 different styles puppets. Andhra influence puppet on one side, and then traditional Karnataka style, very very fascinating style, puppet making style. This that you go everywhere in Karnataka, you will find in hotels, in railway station, in aerodrome, puppets figures are they are speaking a lot about their style and their cultural practices. So I really fascinating. I like Karnataka puppet.
Hmm.
And what is the many things can be told about them. But very wretched condition is there in Maharashtra.
Hmm.
Only one troop is there, and they are not really they're not in good condition
Hmm.
because the hackers, the performing artist community here, they are Silekatharas in other parts of the country, in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, Dhatekar and Silekathara, they are the performing artists, and they are now claiming to which caste we belong to, either Scheduled caste, Scheduled tribe, or any other caste. So
Hmm.
now they are searching their identity in caste hierarchy. So these are the problems. But to my submission,
Hmm.
uh, the tradition is no doubt that will survive and with new energy.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is now a challenge for Andhra scholars, Andhra puppeteers. This will come forward and this will learn how to make their tradition more fascinating and lively. So they should practice that. But in Anantapuram, in Dharmambaram, they're different style. And really, I could find the differences in puppet making,
Mm-hmm.
uh, in using different colors and this that.
Mm-hmm.
So, tradition is a tradition, and really the Belagavi Virana, he has
Mm-hmm.
Muslim tradition
Mm-hmm.
in Karnataka, a
Mm-hmm.
legendary figure. And then I owe my thousand thanks to Ramchandran Pulavar. He's doing a lot of work with his children and with his brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And other, because it is associated with temple rituals in Kerala. They perform 18 days, 21 days during Dasara. So since it is related to temple rituals, the survival, there is a book on Tulpavakuttu inside the drama house, Stuart Blackburn.
Mm-hmm.
Play performance is going on, but you won't find any audience. So who is witnessing the performance? Bhagavati is witnessing.
That's
And
Bhadrakali.
there is a very fascinating book inside the drama house that Stuart Blackburn wants to go through that book. And Benuji is told Babakuttu book, and then many scholars have done it. Then S. N. Krishnaya,
Mm-hmm.
Karnataka puppetry, he has done many things like that, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, Kala Parisa, they are also doing good work, and they have also very good museum, and they are trying to revive the tradition and modernizing this.
Mm-hmm.
Scholars and artists, they are taking sincere interest how to keep this tradition alive, and this that. So in the state of Odisha, I have already told you what is the state of affairs now here.
Mm-hmm.
So we are hopeful, and the other troops, the my friends, we are living very close to my village, the Odisha. Ravana Chhaya, they are doing good things. Primarily, they were not interested to modernize the tradition. Now they are accepting the challenges, accepting new
Mm-hmm.
things, how to
Right.
modernize this,
Mm-hmm.
and they I feel really spirited to speak that they are imitating my style of manipulating puppets. So
Right.
I'm happy. I'm really
Right.
happy that my friends are there, my young brothers, sisters are there, who are trying to incorporate new ideas, new themes, incorporate new musical instruments, and change their style of manipulation other
Mm-hmm.
than traditional style and this that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole problem is we should change our mindset. Who are the audience? That is the very vital
Yes.
point for all of
Right.
us. So
Right.
my on ground is I must go to the school, colleges, and then and there I want to use this traditional art form for any purpose, because this is the only form in the regime of your art form that anybody have access to this form. They can use this form for their own interest. The doctors, the so-called physicians, the bureaucrats, the politicians, and then the temple, the priests, and these teachers, doctors. They can use this form for their. You're glad to know that in if you in some in foreign countries they are using shadow puppet for healing mental patients. They are using that. So we should go there and learn how they are using this traditional form. And this is not the age of using this form for propitiating rain god, or that was the practice for propitiating rain god, or for propitiating ancestors, and for propitiating gods and goddesses for own interest or for the interest of the society. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to change our mindset. We
Right.
should use this form for any purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the modernization.
So in the ancient time, when we looked into the Ravan Chaya thing, how many communities were there performing, and how many left now? What were the audiences that time, and how it changed now?
I have already told you that no
No.
traditional, no, not a single truth.
Hmm.
Because why they have relinquished their love. Rather, I am using the love, the word love very
Hmm.
purposefully. Why love?
Hmm.
Because every
Hmm.
traditional family, they love their family art. Every
Hmm.
community. I
Hmm.
also love my I have also that mindset. I must love my own tradition. But what forced them to relinquish their tradition? That is a huge question. And I think they are victim of the cultural politics nowadays. The state government on the so-called elites they are playing. This is branded as subaltern art, poor man's art. Who will enjoy? Who will see this art form? But wherever I go, wherever I present this art form, again I find huge audience, and they're coming inside a booth. What is happening there inside? The screen is like this, 10 feet and 4 feet. This is the screen, and what we are watching, what we are seeing here, the environment is completely dark, and there is a white screen, and this is a precursor of cinema. Precursor of cinema. You are watching the temple architecture. You are how that where the many things you are watching there. You are listening your own song, the traditional music you are listening here. So that is not small thing. That is not small thing at all. And we should teach our students how to love the tradition. It's only two piece of stick wood. You can build that. That's 30. Kanjani, simple tambourine. So any boy can play with that musical instrument. They can also use their utensils for producing good music. So in my school, students are now they are making puppets and they are playing with musical instruments, and they are really good in manipulating puppets. I used to go schools and colleges, IIT Kharagpur and then IIT Bombay. Then recently I completed a training program at KISS University. Uh,
Hmm.
the students are coming in a training program. They are manipulating much better than me. So that I enjoyed that. So we should go forward and we should teach the students, and we should try to find out what is there within their creativity. So
Right.
this platform, that should be our purpose. They are very creative. They can compose music. They can write text for their own performance. They can draw lines and they can make puppets. This that many things. So this is the very fluid form. That is our own
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
rich man. So and I also invite the audience. Please come and see. And also I take them. I give them my puppets. You hold it like this. Manipulate this before the screen, maybe behind the screen or in front of the light source, and see how the puppets are dancing and how the wonder we create
Hmm.
with the saying flat puppets. The wonder we create, I want to put this word. And we are creating wonders. And I am not in favor of using any modern technology, because my hands and my mind is much clever and much better than any technical assistance equipment. I can do that. I can create wonder.
Right. When you
So
say technology, what do you mean by technology when you say?
someone overhead projector they are using, and they are using small puppets and making it bigger. They are using colored lamps and this that. So you see that you can you could see that Bande Mataram
Hmm.
only 7 minutes program, and I am using we five manipulators are there. We only five manipulators are there. So how many puppets you are seeing there? Uh, their body language and no joints and nothing else, but the drama was speaking a lot. And there is Kuchipudi dance, there is Odissi, there is Bharatanatyam, there is Manipuri, and there is Konark, South Indian temple, North Indian temple, there is Taj Mahal, there is mosque, and this many things, cultural amalgamation of cultures. So Indian cultures you can find there. So you cannot create that kind of ambience in other forms of puppet play. And a puppeteer enjoys the liberty to anything he likes. He can kiss, he can kill any man, he can fly, he can jump over the sea, many things, which is not possible in any art form,
Right.
not in human form. So you can one day, when Hanuman is flying over the sea, is he's flying over the sea. And you were watching the cinema and the trees are uprooted and this that. Now you saw that how I'm manipulating. Only three manipulators were there, and just throwing puppets this that side, and the Hanuman is doing the one day
Mhm.
unbelievable things he can create. So we can do that. So
Right.
I always invite my viewers, please come. I don't hide, I don't want to hide anything. Everything must be disclosed. The traditional puppeteers, they don't allow the viewers to come to enter into, they are completely deceased.
Right. Right.
So why don't you allow the viewers to come inside? No, no, they will lose their interest, and why shall they come? Yes, the people are doing these things, bogus things. We can do that. Yes, you go home and do that what you like. No problem. So then when I chose Lakshmi Puran, another story related to Jagannath.
Mhm.
So you'll find something different. When I saw that Chandalika of Rabindranath, my interest was somewhere else. I must bring Buddha. So Bapu Katha is like that. I wanted to prove how Bapu was. He was the people's leader.
Mhm.
He was living with the mass. So the subject matter, the text, the theme we are choosing, we must be very careful. And I don't allow the politicians, the bureaucrats to manipulate me. So that is my interest. My motto is I am here to manipulate you. Let me do what not I. I am representing the mass. I am representing. So every artist must think alike. I cannot be the tools in other hands. I am my master, and I am living within the muff, within the society. So I must present the societal orders and the cultural practices, and I must project what culture is. So Indian cultures, that is my interest. And we people are doing that. Almost all the artists are doing that. So this is something going beyond the grammar, going beyond the grammar. So unless you know the grammar, you cannot go beyond. So aesthetics remains beyond the grammar.
Mhm.
So this is mere form of puppetry, and I am trying to do this with my friends. And I used to change myself in every performance. So they always tell me their voice. Oh, you told me this last time, and now you are changing yourself. What is this? Now you could follow me. What I am telling. That was your teaching. You told us bring puppets and manipulate like this way. Now you are changing yourself. The style of manipulation, style of singing, and style of hitting drums. Well, every time I am changing myself, and that is the religion of every person. Unless you change yourself, you cannot survive.
True.
Because I am a human being, born to change myself. Every time I am changing.
evolve.
in mind and also in body. So that should be the mission of any artist, and I'm trying
Right.
to do that.
So I think this time is to invite our viewers to
Okay.
audience for the open questionnaire.
But
So if anyone,
one
yes,
thing I
sir.
want to tell
Yeah,
that
please.
I'm neither traditional nor contemporary. I was telling you last time. So where
Yes.
do I stand? So traditional puppeteers are not accepting me as their friend, as one of the members of their traditional members of the family. And contemporary puppeteers, they are telling me they're forgetting that tradition changes. And what they are claiming as modern, one day that would be the traditional. And last time, Daliji and some other scholars, they were, so there is a great long debate regarding that. Anubhav was there. So I think this is the right time to go for this kind of debate.
Right.
So I
Right.
was feeling that I am a high pitch and I
Hybrid. That's a good term.
that's a good term.
Yeah. We're neither traditional nor modern.
But what was the extent?
Yes, yes, yes. So
Okay.
if anybody in the audience having the question, you can raise your hand and unmute to ask your question, or you can just simply write your question in the chat box. We will read it out.
Any comments they can also give regarding my
Yeah.
mindset? So no problem.
Ratnamala ma'am said that puppets are very delicate and graceful. They are beautiful.
Thanks.
So in the meantime, if audience are still formulating their question, I can ask another last question to you. Like, what are the future challenges you see in the training of this particular art form, Ravan Chaya in India? The role of education, technology, which you avoid, and community engagement play in that future of this realm.
No, I am hopeful. The future is no doubt bright, not brighter, not bright. It is brighter, and I want to engage the school children and the teachers uh, how to use this form as a
Mhm.
pedagogy. That was also you mentioned the very top teaching and learning process, and this is the one of the best form. You can do anything. We enjoy the liberty of doing anything through this puppet, not in other style of puppet, in shadow puppet, drawing, painting, and then rendering dialects, singing music, this that. So this is very good form, very fluid form. So you should go for that. And budget is the requirement is very low, very low. So this is the challenge. We can go anywhere, and we should go for new ground. We should go. We should make our own market. So this is consumerism.
Mhm.
Unless you create market, your subsistence, your existence would be at stake. That is the vital point. So you just imagine how much we get in government. In Odisha, government is giving only 800 rupees per one
God.
show, one artist. Only 800. How much classical dancers, demons get? Do you know? Thousands. Vehicle and this that. And a folk artist gets only 800 per day. And government is also taking tax out of that. So this is the very precarious scenario. And then we are questioning about the sustainability of art form.
Mhm.
So this is the right time to think about the ponder these, pro- these are the problems for folk artists in Odisha. I do
Mhm.
not know what is happening outside.
Mhm.
Sangeet Natak Academy is having 4,600 for performance. So that is good.
Right.
Mm.
We have one question in the chat box from Dadi sir. Dadi sir, would you like to unmute and ask it?
That is
Dadi sir is here.
Hi. Um, my question is, I'll just read it in, it's an interesting session. Thank you. A question, what constitutes a tradition of a particular state? Is it the visual emphasis, the art form of that state, music, narration, etc.? Suppose somebody else from another state comes and manages, maybe not, but manages to try and emulate it and things like that. Would that also be considered Ravana Chhaya?
no, that is the only one thing I want to mention here. Only the in regard to puppet configuration, Ravana Chaya is completely different. So one in regard to Andhra puppets, this storytelling and then music composition almost it's the same. The rendering dialogue, they use dialogues more. So basically, Ravancha performance is a musical play, and so also Andhra puppetry. So we can amalgamate ourselves. We can prepare programs. Andhra, Odisha, and Karnataka and Tamil Nadu on one stage. You take the leadership. You can do that on one platform, one music, one episode, one episode. We can sing differently, and we tested this in Madras 5 6 years back, and we became successful. Karnataka, Odisha, then Andhra, and then Java. Then our presentation, the theme of presentation was kidnapping Sita. We all were engaged in preparing this episode. 4 stages were there: Odisha, Karnataka, Java, and then Andhra. They're a beautiful composition. I think there is no difference. You take the initiative, invite the artist of all these 5 states, and we must try how to compose this. This should be a composition, very beautiful composition.
Right. I
And
hope this.
you are our model. You can do that. Only you can do that.
Yeah. So I think this answers the question. We can see another question from Parishmita. Parishmita, do you like to unmute and ask? Shall I read it? Parishmita is asking, is Ravan Chaya a community-based practice?
Going to.
Is Ravan Chaya is a community-based practice. It belongs to certain community.
Yes, that was a communist practice, and the practitioners were from Bhata community, Bard community.
Hmm.
That was their traditional art forms. Nowadays, they are not on the scene. They have relinquished their art form. In 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 South India, they're Silekatra, and in Maharashtra, they're uh, the different caste. In Silekatra, Kilekatra, caste based, completely caste based.
Completely passed.
So that was my question, that somebody else from another community, caste, taking it up, uh, then it would still be called the same. That is the question that I was trying to get at. I'm not against it. I'm not against it, but I'm just asking. I'm asking because today there are many in the traditional, so-called traditional forms, someone from another state or another, uh, uh, well, for the best term, caste we're using, takes it up and gets more opportunities to do it because the traditional artist, poor chap, cannot fill in hundreds of forms and things like that, academies and things. So, but still calls it either Kathputli or suppose, Yakshaganda, Gombiyatta, whatever. So that is where I'm always asking question, what is the line? Because uh, many of the traditions in many parts of the world now are being taken by other people, but they're still keeping that tradition alive and the same name. So that we're at somewhere that juncture in India.
Oh, that is a huge question, and this is very difficult to give any particular answer to this question. But I think the traditional community they should come forward nowadays because really it is there in their blood and in their gene, so they can better performers. It's no doubt about that.
That is it.
When I was wandering many pockets of the across this state, that was my observation. They're really good, really. It's there in their gene. I requested Bharta from Odisha, please come and join hands with me. Give us money. Yes, I can give you money. Then come to my home, make puppets there. No, no, we cannot use puppet out of cow hide because there is offensive. Rama cannot be picture cannot be made in cow hide. Deer hide must be there. Where shall we get deer hide? It's a crime.
Hmm.
So we cannot go for that. So traditional they have many constraints. My proposal that the government should take initiative how to bring them to the main force. So can they can create wonder, which I cannot. I cannot. I'm a learner. I'm trying to know the roots, the basics, but it's not there in my blood. I do not know what next generation will do. Will they carry forward this tradition or not? My son is manipulating, my grandson is manipulating, but what would be the future? So my humble request to the intellectuals and to the government and the distributors, please come forward, bring them to the mainstream because they are the right persons. But they should be very open. They should be open. They should open up themselves.
Right. One question I received from WhatsApp chat. One participant is asking that do you have any book published or any journal or article published on your practice? And is it available on public domain?
Yes, one article is there in Indian Horizon, Persian tradition of Persian puppet, Indian Horizon that was published 10, 12 years back. And very recently, a book published on Ravana Chhaya, Sahitya Academy, Kendra Sahitya Academy, that is in Oriya. And many papers are there in English also. If so, if she can send me the address, I can send the copy of those articles. And many
Right.
articles are there also. Many newspapers in Hindu, in Times of India, and in Indian Express, and many articles are there. Are written
Right.
on. Please.
Yes. Yes, sir. And we have one comment in the chat box from Terence. He is saying that We just want to thank you as a puppets here in Southeast Asia, where many similarities, yet there are notable differences how both regions have evolved. I agree that the politics can isolate how much an artist can continue their work and affect their choices.
Okay, thank you. No, many things can be disseminated here. There are books on how this tradition has been traveled through from Odisha to South Asian countries, and when this tradition has been migrated and this that. So I don't like to give comments on that. Many books are there, many books, many research.
Yes, yes.
So we should not poke our nose on that matter. That will create again confusion. Again,
Right, right,
I can. Jiban Prani has claimed that this form, this Kalingan art form, has traveled from Orissa to South Asian countries, and he has cited more than 10 words. These are Oriya words, and the South the Japanese puppeteers they are using these words. So this form has been migrated from Orissa to Java. And
right,
I
right.
found another 20 more words in that context. So I can how can I claim that these words, this form has been traveled from here to Southeast Asian countries? So I don't like to. So this is simply chauvinistic attitude. I don't like to put this attitude in this forum. So books are there, and they are claiming that this was our tradition. So I found one character that remains. That character is ruling everywhere. There is a comic character, our barber, Kuthugad. Then I found the same character in Java and also in Malaysia. The same character, Thailand, the same character, half naked, almost naked, penis exposed, then breast exposed, this, that. So that is the clue that we can claim that this is the stock character moved from this to from here to there. That is the only proof. No more proofs are there. So regarding puppet configuration, we can go for that. So how they manipulate puppet, that is also important. The ritualistic practices, that is also important. So many clues are there to claim our identity, how we are related. So many things. That is research, and I have already mentioned that I cannot claim that this is this.
Right. So one
So
last comment we have in the chat box from Dadi sir is wish they would translate into Hindi and English. I think he's connecting to your publication, your journals, if it is available in Hindi or English too. And we can circulate to rest of the community of the puppeteers in India and international so they know more about Ravana Chhaya.
was one publisher from Delhi. He is now agreed to publish me 2 books, one on Orisian puppetry and then The Sacred Shadow, the study of shadow theatre of India, mm, its history and scope modernization.
Mhm.
Recently, when I was there, and he came to me and told me, "Sir, I am prepared to publish this. These are in English," and I gave him words. I will give you the manuscript. I think within 1 year that will come out.
Right.
But when this book has been published by some Sahitya Academy, they will translate this Ravana Chaya, and that happens.
Yes,
Okay, provide me your address, and then I will send the materials.
definitely, sir.
Thank
We'll circulate it. And if there is no any other question in the chat box, I request everyone to please turn your video on so that we have a selfie, a group photo. And I really appreciate that you joined from every corner of the world and make this session really happen, possible, fruitful. We have Sudhir Chandra, we have Khageshwarji, we have Idoya from International Heritage Commission, UNIMA International. Thank you, Idoya, for joining. We have Terence. Hi, Terence. We have Kapil. And everyone say puppetry. Puppetry. Thank you. So I would, on behalf of UNIMA Puppeteers Trust India, I would like to thank Dr. Gouranga Charan Dash.
No doctor.
Okay.
I would like to that word.
Okay. So I would like to thank you, sir, to agreeing and joining and make this session happen today. Thank you for sharing the critical insights from Ravana Chhaya and tradition of Odisha and your practice. Thank you so much, everyone joining us today. And if you want any further information regarding such events and our publications, you can reach us on UNIMA Puppeteer Trust India. Our website is puppeteertrust.in, and our email is puppeteertrust@gmail.com. And we are also present on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube by the name of @Puppeteer Trust. All the previous Anubhav sessions are recorded and available on our digital library. Thank you so much. This was 9th edition of Anubhav with Gouranga sir. Thank you so
No.
much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terence.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I couldn't put on the video. But anyway, I was there.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you.
really
Thank you.
means a lot.
Bye. It
Bye.
was very, very interesting. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.